So good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. This is the fourth episode of our series called Yes to Consciousness. And our topic for today is knowing what is true for you. And we could say that's an easy topic, and also it's a very complicated topic. First of all, what does it mean, knowing something? This has nothing to do with studying or knowing something based on your studies. It's not about knowing something with your logical brain. It has not much to do with education or in the education in the usual form. It's rather about what do you know as an infinite being and how you can sort of like figure it out what is true for you, like how you can use your awareness, how you can exploit your awareness to see what is true for you. And if we go a little bit further, another question is, what does it mean true? And of course, we can add that part. What does it mean for you? Because now you can see it, maybe there are so many, like there is so many different forms of truth in the world, but you as an infinite being, you have your own awareness, and in your whole universe, you have your own rules and your own reality. And based on your choices, what is true for you? Based on what you desire to create, what is true for you? So we go back to that part of what does it mean you know something? And there is a really amazing tool called the Light and Heavy. This is a tool in Access Consciousness that people learn at the first class, which is called BARS, which is a one-day class where you learn to touch those 32 points on the head, each point is called a bar. And maybe there is not much time during that class to go deeper into how you can use the Light and Heavy tool. But actually, this is the tool that really can help you to start to see what is actually true for you, and to start to see or start to sort of like use your capacities and your awareness. In that sense, you are aware of everything. Maybe you've heard it so many times, and maybe you say, okay, I don't get it. What does it mean? I'm aware of everything. So being aware has nothing to do with thinking. And it has nothing to do with logic. Awareness has many forms. For example, you can have an awareness showing up in your body, like as a bodily sensation. And awareness can show up in the being that you are, in a sense of you have sort of like you perceive yourself in a different way, or you perceive energy, or you perceive something that is changing. I could say the easiest to understand it, let's say your mood is changing. But these are all sort of like feedbacks about your awareness, like you are aware of something, but it is not that clear for you at the moment. So it is very similar to, for example, if you have a dream, after you wake up in the morning, that dream starts to fade away. Like you cannot keep the memory of all the details of the dream. And like after a few minutes, you just only remember the main story of your dream. Because it happens in a totally different, let's say, dimension. And as we are not really using these capacities or these, let's say, we could say the sixth sense that you have, therefore it just fades away. Maybe it's something like when you get on a bike and you never learned how to ride the bike, and someone is pushing your bike, and for a few seconds you can think like you are riding that bike. But after a while, you fell off the bike and then you don't know how it will happen. So it is something as a muscle that we have to sort of like train, the muscle of sort of like being present with your awareness, with all the different forms of your awareness. Because that is an awareness when your mood is changing suddenly. That is an awareness of something that happened around you or happened to you, connecting to you. So, and as you start to be present with it, what happens that you start to have more clarity about what is really happening. Okay, so what we would like to do is just go a little bit more and have a little bit more details about what is the light and heavy tool. What it means that everything that is true for you, it starts to create a sensation of lightness. Lightness have many forms. If it shows up in you, in the being, and the being is actually you who is listening to this or watching this, you are the being. The other part you have is your body. So there can be many bodily sensations, and also there can be changes in your mood as a being. So anything that you think of that makes you much lighter, even in the body or in your being, that is true for you. And anything that makes you sort of like heavier, like feeling like even depressed or heavier mood change, like downwards or become like having a sort of like even a headache or your muscles to get contracted. These are the different forms how it can show up when something is not true for you. It can be like you can use it for anything. Like you can listen to news in the media. You can listen to your friend who is telling you a story. And if your body is changing or your mood is changing, just listen to how it is changing, like what is happening. Does it lights you up or does it makes you feel heavier? Okay, let me. So how we can click mute all. And I ask it please. Oops, yeah, sorry. Thank you. Okay. I just muted everyone else, not the translators. Cool. So for example, you can test it. You can look into it, how it works. You can try to see, let's say, your friend is telling you something, like what happened to them or what do they think about something that you should do. Let's say your friend is telling you, you should invest into this option. And they tell you like there is a new possibility or there is some great ideas. And you can ask the question from yourself, like, truth, if I invest into this opportunity, will it generate more money for me? Or will it generate money at all for me? And when you ask the question with no points of view, what will show up for you? Like, what is the change that you can sense? And maybe you sense nothing at the moment or for the first time, but just keep asking questions like this. And anytime when you ask the question, just be present with yourself, like be present with your body and see which muscles are changing or whether your stomach is changing or your breathing is changing or your heartbeat is changing, like what is changing in your body. And just as you stay present with your whole body, you start to recognize whether it's something like a contraction or it's rather something like making you feel much lighter. And there is something else that can show up like excitement, like when your heartbeat goes up insanely. So that is not fear, but excitement. And if something creates excitement in your reality, maybe that is the non plus ultra. That is the best thing that can show up, because it is such a great level of expansion. It's not just lightness, it's a huge level of expansion. And actually, as an infinite being, your very nature is the continuous expansion. So we are looking for those opportunities in our life that would create even more expansion, because that will take you closer to the state of the infinite being that you are. It can be an investment, it can be a new relationship, it can be something new that you could learn, or it can be a new workplace. If we would try to look into it from logic, that could create so many different forms of failure, because logic is always connected to polarities and points of view. When we are functioning from question, then there are no points of view, no logic, no expectations. So it is about to sort of like practice to function from question. And of course, a lot of people are functioning from question in a way that they already have an expectation or have an expected outcome of the situation. So even the question can be really good. Like they ask the question of like, is it a contribution if I choose this kind of investment? But they already have an expectation that this is a great investment and that will generate money. So they already added that energy to that possibility. So their expectation will shade or cover the true energy of that possibility. So it's like they are checking their own expectation, and therefore what they will sense, it will be in line with their expectation. So it's like, very simply, it's like sort of like trying to lie to yourself. So this is why I say, like, functioning from question also means that there is no expectations, there are no points of view about the outcome. You are simply just present with what is showing up in your body. So, and maybe it won't be like it won't be very successful for someone else if they would choose the same what you choose. So it doesn't really matter if that person says whether it's a great investment or they say no, it's a bad investment. What matters that what is your own awareness. Like you never have to sort of like check your awareness against someone else's awareness, because their awareness is about their truth. Your awareness is about your truth. So with the same option, you can go well, you can go right, and they can go to the opposite direction. I see there is a question. Yeah, no, it's not a question. Just thank you for the invitation, I guess. Yeah, good evening for everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. And actually, if you have a question, feel free to ask a question. You can type it into the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and or raise your hand, and then we will know you have a question. Okay. So again, I just want you to clearly see that what is true for you, it doesn't have to be true for someone else. If something is true for someone else, it doesn't have to be true for you. So you don't have to agree with anyone, because alignment and agreement is about to take over other people's reality or take over other people's points of view. Actually, it's rather just the point of view, not their reality. So it will not work for you, even if it is working for them. Okay. Like there is an amazing example. Imagine that you are standing at the edge of a cliff and you have this question like, now I'm jumping off the cliff. Is it a contribution to me? Let's say that cliff is like more than 100-meter high. So definitely if you jump off the cliff, you will die. And some people would say that, or they sense it's a big contribution to do the jump. So maybe they need to jump. My question would be, what is your conscious or unconscious choice about dying or finishing your life? Because if you're not present with your conscious and unconscious choices that are sort of like, it's your choice and there is nothing wrong about a choice, but your question will sort of like respond. It will be in line with your choices. If someone is choosing to have a quick death for whatever reason, maybe in a previous lifetime they decided that they will do it this way. So for them, it's a contribution. But for other people who would like to live longer, who would like to have a happy life and a healthy life, for them, it will be a big no if they ask this question. So light and heavy is really depends on your own choices, your conscious and unconscious choices. So I see there is a question. I think, Jana, if you can help me out with the question.
So the question is how we can use the question correctly without any expectation. I don't understand this. I understand this, but I have a feeling.
Without any expectations, right?
Mm-hmm. I have the feeling that my brain is sabotaging my questions because
so the feeling is
because I have already some expectations like in my mind. So how can I use the questions so that it comes out from the consciousness? If it's understandable, yeah.
Okay, so let me repeat it. So how can I use the questions? Because I'm afraid that my brain or my logic is sort of like misleading me. So not to function from my brain, but to function from my awareness and consciousness. Okay. So a really amazing question. It is all about to move from points of view judgments into a space of having no points of view at all. And so if let's say there are options in your life or situations in your life that are really, really important, really significant, really valuable to you, it really, really matters what will happen. Let's say you would like to buy something really expensive thing, but you don't know whether it's your awareness to buy it or it's your point of view to buy it. And if it's really significant for you, this decision, then it means you already have so many points of view. You decided that it is your whole life depends on this choice. So I would recommend if you need to make a decision or a choice on a topic that is really significant for you, that first start to destroy and uncreate all your points of view about the topic, all the expectations about the topic, all the expected outcome of the topic, like what happens if I choose this and what happens if I don't choose it, or if I don't choose in time, if I miss this possibility. Like we have so many points of view about it, like, oh my God, this is a once in a lifetime possibility. I don't want to miss that. This is something people oftentimes use to make you choose what they want you to choose. So all these points of view has an energy, and you can connect to the energy of the points of view. Like you have this, like a friend is offering this possibility to invest money into that great idea. And the idea is selling itself for you, like it's you like the idea, but all the points of view you have about it, like why it is so good, why it should be so successful, what do you expect from it, like it will give like 10 times more profit than anything else. You sort of like need to destroy and uncreate all the energy, all the energetic imprints of these points of view. Like if you think of it, oh, this would pretty sure bring me a profit 10 times greater. So everywhere I decided this will bring me so much profit, now I destroy and uncreate. And don't worry, you will not destroy and uncreate the profit. You will destroy and uncreate the points of view or the lies or the expectations and the conclusions attached to the point of view or attached to that possibility. And once you like totally clear all of it, because if you clear it like one by one or all together, what will happen that you start to have like a much greater space around you available. You start to have ease, you start to calm down, you start to become more relaxed about the topic. You know, that business investment is still the same, like nothing happened with the business investment. What's happening that the space that you are functioning from with that business investment, all the points of view, all the polarity, that's sort of like the result of your brain, all of that starts to get cleared out. And you are moving from functioning from polarity into functioning from no points of view, functioning from consciousness. And you will have really a more relaxed space. And once you have no points of view about it, you are totally calm and have total ease. And that's the moment when you are in the space of no points of view. So that's the moment when you can start to really ask the question, like, is it a contribution if I choose it? Will it generate money for me if I choose it? Will it generate money within a month, within 3 months, within 6 months? Will it generate more than what I invested into it within 3 months or within 6 months or within a year or within 2 years? And each and every question you ask, like, just be present with it. Like, are you still relaxed? Are you still peaceful? Or you have expectations already? Because then it means please clear those expectations and conclusions again until you get back to the space of having ease and relaxation. Is that clear so far? So we really need to sort of like start to function from a space where we have no points of view about anything. As long as you are functioning from points of view, you are functioning from your fear, from your conclusions, from other people's projections, then it's not your awareness, then it's not functioning from consciousness. You will mislead yourself. So it's totally or entirely, you are driven by the other person who is offering this idea to you, or you are driven by your points of view, which is not your awareness. And also at the same time, like oftentimes we have doubt, like you think this will be a great possibility, and also at the same time you think you will lose lots of money on this. So it sounds like it's risky. But if you have clarity about it, then it's not risky anymore, but you have ease with the decision, you can sense it, that this is what is going to happen, or this is what is going to be the outcome of that choice. Maybe for the first few occasions, it will take some time to get into that space of having no points of view. But if you don't do it, then, you know, you will never have the space. So please keep practicing, or start to practice it, and give yourself some time. Like, don't give it up if it takes more than 10 minutes or 20 minutes to get that space of ease and relaxation and having peace. Like, keep doing until all your conclusions and points of view are sort of like fading away. And maybe you can fall back into that energy, or into that space of having points of view, but then do it again and do it again and do it again. So keep it clearing all the things that are showing up. Any questions you have so far? No questions. So what does it mean? Again, knowing. Knowing can show up when you are functioning from this space of having no points of view, because your points of view are like, it's like having plenty of flies or mosquitoes disturbing you. It doesn't allow you to see what is the truth. It doesn't allow you to see what will your choice create. You are so busy with dealing with all the points of view, all the conclusions. Once you clear the space, suddenly your knowing starts to occur. It starts to show up. You start to have ease with having clarity about anything in your life. Like, you can start to look into your diet. You can start to look into your business, into what would be profitable for you. You can start to look into your health, like if you have any symptoms, any illnesses, you can look into it, like maybe you received a diagnosis from doctors, or something that is really like telling something bad about your future. But as you start to sort of like really practice this, having like clarity and having ease, it all fades away, and you sort of like having this quiet moment everywhere in your life. Like, anywhere you go, anything you do, there is like an inner peace. And in that inner peace, when you function from that, anyone comes to you, or anything would happen to you, or anything that is planned by others to be done to you, you will have ease with that, and you will know what it is going to be created, or what these people are planning to do to you. So that kind of a doubt totally disappears. So maybe the question is that, does it worth to invest your time, invest your energy, invest your money into let's say, practicing to function from the space of the infinite being that you are, to function from that space of having ease and peace and relaxation? You know, you have many options. If you don't do it, your life will be like just before. You know, this is like in the Matrix. You can choose to figure out more, or you can choose to go back to your old life. And there is nothing wrong with that. You can choose to go back to your old life, like where you made a decision based on asking your friends what they would do, or reading books, or reading the stories on the internet to figure it out whether this is a reliable possibility, like this is a good option if you choose it, whatever is the topic. Or the other option is that you start to invest more energy into your awareness. You start to practice the tool called light and heavy. And then over time, you will have more clarity and you will see what really can be done. What you will see, like you will have a knowing about everything in your life, which is like having a compass for life, or having, it's not a map that you have to like put together as a result of education, which is a result of so many people's points of view and conclusions, but you could fill the empty parts of this map with your knowing, with pure consciousness. Anna Maria, I think there is a question. Can you help me with the translation, please?
Okay. Rocco, how do you consider such notions as karma and the karmic relationship? I guess there is no consciousness, no choice. Everything is already predetermined here and thought beforehand. I see this doesn't work for me, but I am in this state right now, and I see that somebody is playing with excitement in it. Everybody and very many people are talking much about it. How can I live this with lightness, especially when we are speaking about relationship with closest family people?
Okay, so let me repeat it. So
Вопрос
other
в чате у нас про карму.
Okay, so I will repeat it so other translators can hear it as well. So the question is that what is my approach to karma and karmic relationship?
Каков, Рока, твой подход к карме, кармическим отношениям? На мой взгляд, здесь нет выбора, нет осознанности.
You are still in the English line. Sorry. Thank you. So the question is that what is my approach to karma and karmic relationships? And the person says there is no awareness and we don't have a choice because everything is already decided and planned already, like in advance. And it doesn't really work for the person, but we have to sort of like admit this is how it works. And so maybe the question is that what can we do with those situations when we are in a relationship with like close family members? Okay. Cool. Yes, so there is such thing called karma. When we talk about karma, like maybe I mentioned that before, just let me clarify it. As an infinite being, like you are the being, you are the person who is listening, you are a being, the infinite being. And what you have a body. Like these two parts are real. And then there is a third part, which is your belief systems, your points of view, your judgments, but not just in this lifetime, but from all lifetimes and all dimensions. And this is karma, in other words. Like if you did something, it will have a result. But this is something that, like, if you have the point of view that if I'm doing something that I have to fix it in the next lifetime, then sort of like that will be your reality. So what would it take to change this? And the good thing in Access, there are tools to clear your karma, or let's say people can give up their karma, because you are the one who have to keep functioning from and keep choosing karma. You are the one who decides that I have a karma, like, let's say, my financial reality is pretty shit, like I don't have money. I'm sure it's because I had issues with money in a previous lifetime. Pretty sure I was so rich and I fucked it up. Therefore, in this lifetime, I have to pay it back with not having money. So in that sense, karma really can work. The big question is, like, do you want to maintain karma, or are you ready to give it up? Because you created your reality. Anything that you did in the past will be your present moment. But in the present moment, you create your future. The question is that, do you use your past as a reference point to create your future, or you give up sort of like everything that you did in your past and start to function from, let's say, from scratch, start to function and start with a clean slate and decide to create something totally different. Because if you energetically maintain your past, like if you give energy to your past, and it doesn't really matter if you don't remember your past lives, or if you don't remember your past, it will still have an effect as long as you believe in the idea that there is karma. And as long as you sort of like try to describe or give a definition to yourself, like why things are not working in this lifetime. So it's not about to figure it out, the why, it's rather about to choose something else that works for you in the future, because you create your future from the space that you are functioning from now. So what is the future that you would like to create? And are you ready to change the space you are functioning from? Like, are you ready to, for example, you know, maybe you heard that the people who are your close friends, or the people that you meet the most in your everyday life, they are sort of like, they are generating the space that you are functioning from. Let's say if all your friends are working hard and they don't have savings and they don't have money, and or they don't have a good relationship, this will be your common space that you are functioning from. And if you start to change the people or the group that you belong to, like if you start to find new friends who have happy relationships, or make new friendships with people who are rich, then with that, and if you keep meeting with them, then you start to function from the space what they generate. If you were like a victim of an abusive situation in the past, and you keep running that story, you keep thinking about that story, and you keep telling that story to everyone, then what happens, you maintain and generate that energy in your life, and your future will be the same. So as long as we are functioning from our past, whether we know it or not, it will keep generating that future. And there is a question like, what about past contracts, obligations, and commitments? So what happens that with all of this, of course, you create the same. You can, like, there's a really good clearing, like, which sounds like this. Now I revoke, recount, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce all the promises, oaths, vows, fealties, communities, secret promises, and blood oaths that I ever made in any lifetime, like beyond time and space and all dimensions. If you have an awareness that there are like past contracts that are sort of controlling your life, like sabotaging your life, then you can really run this clearing, and please run it until you sense that these contracts have an energy. And once you start to have like peace and being relaxed with that, then the energy of it disappeared. So is it clear? So the interesting thing that you are the one who were sort of like agreeing to these past contracts and obligations and commitments. Therefore, you are the one who have the power to destroy and uncreate, eliminate, eradicate, and revoke, recount, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, all of it for all eternity. So you don't even have to know what you actually signed and in which lifetime. You can simply clear anything by connecting to the energy of it. Let's say if you have a relationship or you had many relationships in this lifetime and you sense that there is the same problem with each of these relationships, and you somehow become aware of that. I'm pretty sure I made some commitment or some obligation that sort of like stops me in having fun and joyful relationships. And if you sense the energy of that, like you can sense some heaviness around it, like around your relationships, then you can connect to that heaviness and stop. And that, because that is the energy. That is the energetic feedback of that contract or of that commitment. So you can connect to that energy and start to clear it. And you can clear it verbally. Like you can clear it by saying that now I destroy and uncreate and revoke, recount, rescind, reclaim, renounce, denounce, and destroy and uncreate all these obligations, commitments, contracts for all eternity. And the access tools we can use to clear karma. It was.
We cannot hear you now.
You cannot hear me. For long or for how long?
Yeah, but you sound
weird
like a
sound,
robot.
like from some, like really far away.
Can you hear me now or not? Magic. Okay, so there is this question about the karma clearing access tool. It was part of a foundation class in the past, like many years ago. It's not part of it anymore, but I can look it up and send out the clearing in the email with the recording, if you can accept that. Because I have to be really honest, I don't remember clearly the clearing. But it's something like that. Are you willing to give up all the karma to all the Jesus or Ganesh or all the other, or Buddha or Jehovah or any gods or goddesses that you believe in? But there is really a more detailed clearing, and I'm happy to look it out and share with you in the email that goes out for the recording. Cool.
Rocco, I have one question, another question from Ilonka.
Yes. So the question is?
The question is, so ask the question means open to the space of the possibilities, and the term like being the question is something that I don't have any points of view anymore. Am I clear on that? Like, is it, if I understand this right?
Okay, I just repeat it so other translators can hear as well. So asking a question. Oh, okay. Like two question was what is asking a question and what is
That asking a
question.
question means open myself to the space of possibilities, and the term like being the question is like that I don't have any points of view anymore.
Okay, so functioning from question means I don't have any points of view anymore. Yes, this is what it means. I just would like to ask, like, there are two people who are unmuted and I cannot mute them, and their background noise is coming all the time. If they could mute themselves, that would be amazing. Thank you. Cool. So asking a question means you, like, oftentimes we ask a question, like there are questions like yes and no, or binary questions. Like, is it a contribution if I choose this? Of course, anytime when you ask a question, you have to function from a space of no points of view, no conclusions, no expectations. And maybe this is the hardest part, to get to a space when you have totally no expectations and nothing about the outcome of the question. So you can ask actually any kind of question, but just be sure that you check the wording of the question, that there are no conclusions in it, and not just the wording, but the energy that you have about the question while you are asking the question. For example, you can ask a question like, is it a contribution if I invest 100,000 euro into this this business, whatever business? And your friend already told you that it is the most amazing investment and you will have 10 times more money from that within 2 months. And of course, you want to have plenty of money in your bank account. So you already have an expectation. So even if you ask the question is just like that. Is it a contribution if I invest 100,000 euro in this business opportunity? But you have energetically an expectation that this will bring you lots of money. Therefore, it will be a yes, even if it is a no. So you have to clear your points of view, your conclusions, your expectations first, and then ask the question. And another question was functioning from question. It really means that you have no more definitions to life. You have no more expectations and conclusions to anything that you ever heard about or ever learned. You very simply, in space, you are in that spaciousness, you are in that ease, that being relaxed and being peaceful, and no points of view, no other people's projections, nothing is affecting you. Like, you can get to that space when you are not affected by anything or anyone. This is like being in a question. You are not even affected by your past. So you are not trying to function from past situations like, oh, I'm not choosing this because in the past when I'm choosing it, it didn't work. You know, there is no question in this at all. It's already functioning from a reference point to your past. But the same thing, like the same situation, doesn't mean it will be the same result. Anything can change, anything can be different. So you need to function from question, what will this create if I choose this? Not expecting something that you already had, being in question or being totally curious about it. No matter, maybe it happened to you like 9 times, something. you still need to ask the question, because this situation can be totally different. Like being in the question, it also means like functioning from energy, like following the energy of your choice, allowing yourself to sense the energy of any situation. That is also about being in question. So I would like to invite everyone to please ask questions, start to clear all the doubt, all the points of view, all the judgments, all the expectations, all the conclusions, all the projections of others, anything that you made vital, valuable, and real and significant about yourself, about your past, about your friends, about your future, and just start generating the space of the infinite being that you are, because that will really allow you to have this peace, to have this ease. Like functioning as an infinite being has nothing to do with polarity. It has nothing to do with judgments. It has nothing to do with stories. But it has everything to do with energy, with sensing and perceiving the energy of each and every choice, each and every possibility, each and every situation in your life. It's sensing the energy of your future. Like, I would also say, like, start to move your, like, instead of being present with the five senses, start to invite to be present with your perceiving, with your awareness, everything that goes beyond the five senses. Because what we can see or what we can pick up with the five senses, that's only like 5% of the whole reality, and 95% is about your awareness. Like 95% of this reality is something that you've never been educated into, because it's about the energy of this reality, the energy that is behind the words, the energy that is behind actions, the energy that is behind any situation. Allow yourself to open up to the energy and start to sense the energy and start to learn to see the difference between the different versions of energy. It's like the 50 shades of gray, in that sense that even one color, which is gray, which a lot of people says it's not even a color, it's just gray. It has so many shades. So energy has infinite shades, and allow yourself that to sense the difference. Maybe if you run a body process, you can only sense something like the energy is running through your hand, or you can sense something like a tingling sensation, or maybe you can sense heat. Sometimes you can sense like a freezing sensation in your hands, or you can sense even your hands become numb. It's already like 3, 4, or 5 different versions of the energy, but there is much more. And if you start to be present with it, you start to have clarity about all the different forms of how energy can show up and what energy means. It's learning a new language that you never studied or never practiced before, but it gives you information. It never lies to you. So start to practice following the energy and sensing the energy, and see what the energy means behind the words, behind what people tell you, or behind situations or actions that people do. So this is my invitation to all of you, which would really allow you to have a much more colorful reality, to see the future and to see what is behind your possibilities. It would give you the chance to create a totally different life. And of course, if you would like to go deeper with this topic, there is a class we call the Your Acoustic Body class, which is like an amazing 3-day body class, which is about the infinite being, which is about to be present, to receive, to translate the energy into information, and how you can deal with all these kinds of situations, and how you deal with the space of infinite possibilities. Like, what does it mean that you can choose anything, not just choosing from the resources that were given to you? Maybe next time we'll talk about the space of infinite possibilities, if that could be something interesting to all of you. So thank you so much for joining us. And I hope to remember to send that karma clearing in the recordings email. And see you next time with the next episode. And thank you for all the amazing translators being part of this creation, and for your time as well, for joining us. Thank you, and have a beautiful weekend. Thank you, and see you. Bye-bye. Ahoy. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.